Hello, and welcome to 5 Minutes Fluentcast, the podcast that takes you to fluency. Here, you improve your English naturally, listening to real conversations about everyday life. Let's get started.
Have you ever noticed how stress doesn't stay only in your mind? At first, it feels mental, racing thoughts, worry, pressure, but over time, it starts showing up in your body. Tight shoulders, headaches, stomach issues, shallow breathing, constant fatigue. Stress has become so common that many people see it as normal. A busy schedule, constant deadlines, notifications, responsibilities, it feels like stress is just part of life now. But stress is not just an emotional experience, it's a full body reaction. And when it becomes chronic, it can deeply affect how your body functions, how you feel every day, and even your long-term health. Today, we're talking about how stress affects the body, what's actually happening inside you when you're stressed, and why understanding this can help you take better care of yourself.
I think this topic is extremely important because many people underestimate stress. They think it's just in my head or everyone is stressed. But stress leaves physical marks. It shows up in posture, digestion, sleep, immunity, and energy levels. And when people don't understand that connection, they often blame themselves for feeling tired, sick, or unmotivated, when in reality, their body has been under pressure for a long time.
Exactly. Our bodies react to emails, deadlines, financial worries, and social pressure the same way they would react to physical danger. But unlike a real threat that ends quickly, modern stress often lasts for days, weeks, or even years, and the body stays in that alert state for far too long.
That's why many digestive issues get worse during stressful periods. The body simply doesn't feel safe enough to digest properly. Even healthy food can feel heavy when stress is high.
One of the first places stress shows up is in the muscles. When you're stressed, your body prepares for action. Muscles tighten, especially in the neck, shoulders, jaw, and lower back. This tension is useful for short moments, but harmful when it becomes constant. Over time, chronic muscle tension leads to pain, stiffness, headaches, and reduced mobility.
That's why many people feel pain without physical injury. Their body has been holding tension for so long that it becomes the new normal. And because the tension builds slowly, people often don't connect it to stress. They think something is wrong with their body, when in reality, their body has been in survival mode for too long.
Another system that stress strongly affects is digestion. When the body is in stress mode, digestion becomes less important. Blood flow is redirected away from the stomach and intestines toward muscles and the brain. As a result, stress can cause bloating, stomach pain, acid reflux, constipation, or diarrhea.
That's why many digestive issues get worse during stressful periods. The body simply doesn't feel safe enough to digest properly. Even healthy food can feel heavy when stress is high.
Sleep is another major area affected by stress. When cortisol levels stay high, the body struggles to fully relax. You might feel exhausted, but your mind stays alert. Thoughts loop. The nervous system doesn't shut down.
And poor sleep makes stress worse. So people enter a cycle. Stress disrupts sleep, lack of sleep increases stress, and the body never fully recovers.
Chronic stress also weakens the immune system. Short-term stress can temporarily boost immunity, but long-term stress suppresses it. The body becomes less effective at fighting infections and recovering from illness. That's why people under constant stress often get sick more often or take longer to heal.
It's another reminder that stress is not just mental. It affects how resilient your entire body is.
One of the most confusing effects of stress is fatigue. People often feel tired even when they're not physically active. That's because stress keeps the nervous system activated. The body is constantly on, burning energy without rest.
So even doing nothing feels exhausting, and people blame themselves. Why am I so tired? When in reality, their body has been in survival mode for too long.
The hardest part about stress is that it has become normalized. Being stressed is almost expected. People wear it like a badge of responsibility or importance.
But just because stress is common doesn't mean it's healthy, and just because everyone feels it doesn't mean your body isn't paying the price.
So, stress affects the body in many ways: muscles, digestion, sleep, immunity, energy, and mood.
And when stress becomes chronic, the body never fully recovers.
Understanding this helps remove guilt. Feeling tired, tense, or unwell is not weakness, it's a signal.
Here's a simple practice you can start today. Instead of asking, "How can I push through this?" ask, "What does my body need right now?"
That might be movement, rest, deep breathing, silence, or a short break from stimulation. Small moments of recovery throughout the day can lower stress levels more effectively than waiting for a long vacation.
Stress doesn't disappear instantly, but when you start responding to it with awareness instead of resistance, your body begins to feel safer.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fluentcast.
We hope this conversation helped you better understand what stress is doing to your body.
Remember, listening to your body is not weakness.
It's intelligence.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fluentcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new,
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
we post new episodes with real English and real ideas about life.
You can also download the PDF with the full transcript of this episode. The link is in the description below.
And here's an important tip. Try listening to this same episode every day for 1 week.
Repetition helps you understand more deeply, notice new expressions, and improve your listening skills.
This is how real learning happens, naturally and step by step.
See you next time.
Bye.